It's the 11th of September today. It's a date that for many, many people holds deep meaning. It's a day that changed the world. And for those who lived through it or who lost loved ones, the emotions are still super raw, even all these years on. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think about 9/11, the first feelings that do come up for me are fear, shock, sadness. I'm sure you feel the same. That makes sense. It was a moment of unimaginable tragedy, and it's important to give and create space to that emotion and that feeling. And then there's something else that shone through on those days, months and years afterwards. And it was the way that people demonstrated resilience and the way that people came together. In the face of such a great tragedy, there were stories of extraordinary bravery. Firefighters, emergency crews, the extraordinary people risking their lives to help strangers, communities opening their doors, offering food, comfort, and just being there for people. And it felt like the world stopped, right? And then slowly the world began to move again, fueled by compassion and courage. And it's something we've seen time and time again. In the UK, when we had the attack on the tube system, 7/7, during the pandemic, when across the world we pulled together through a really difficult time, experiencing the widespread outbreak, if you like, of COVID. And that's the thing about resilience, is that often when we think of resilience, we think of being strong and being like, it's okay, we can all get through this. And it's not that, actually. Resilience isn't pretending that the pain is not there. And in all of those situations, the pain really was there. And with that pain, people stepped up and people reached out and people helped each other. And I think in your day-to-day, resilience is something that appears in ways that we're not expecting. You know, when I'm on the phone to a team member and they're feeling, weepy and sad and you see them crying, it would be easy to think, oh, they're not very strong. When I was a kid, my dad would come home from work and was struggling at work, and I'd find him crying on the stairs. And as a kid, I didn't understand that. As an adult, when I speak to him about it, he says that was the way that I processed things. That was the way that I was able to let the steam come out in a really acceptable way. Let the pressure relieve. When you see people in anger, when you see people agitated, these are expressions of emotion that actually, if they are allowed to process, if they are allowed to feel, demonstrates resilience. Resilience is not about skipping over the grief. It means finding the strength to take one more step, to keep going and to rebuild, and in the process, being able to express and understand and process that emotion. And so today, it's an important day, isn't it? And as I'm sure you'll find yourself pausing to remember at times, let's honour not only the lives lost, but the human capacity to endure, to heal, and to care for one another. And it doesn't need a big event for resilience to appear in your life. You might be experiencing it right now. And if you can embody that spirit of resilience by reaching out to someone who needs you, by showing kindness or by holding on to optimism even when things feel hard, and allowing some of those more difficult emotions and difficult expressions to be part of your day-to-day, then we can only build a stronger and more hopeful world. So today, how can you practice your resilience? I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Everyday Positivity for you. In the meantime, have a great day. And remember, you have 100% got this.